So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's class. So, I'm going to use the board to just explain myself. I've posted the documents on the notes on the portal. So, I just want to guide you of what is expected of you kindly. So, today we are going to talk about quite a number of things. The first topic is second group verbs. We started it last time, so I want to expand on the same. So when we talk about second group verbs are verbs ending in IR. So kindly just write that. Second group verbs are verbs ending in IR. So français, le, 11 août 2020. So second group verbs. So we are talking about second group. Second group verbs. So I've said second group verbs are verbs ending in IR, okay? They are verbs ending in IR. Remember, we started by talking about first group verbs. We did say that first group verbs are regular verbs and first group verbs are verbs ending in ER. And we did say that all verbs ending in ER are second group verbs except the verb alle. So here we are talking about the second classification of verbs, and that is the second group verbs. So I've said these are verbs ending in IR. They are verbs ending in IR. That is the first thing you need to note. Secondly, they are verbs, these verbs are regular verbs, okay? They are regular verbs, just like the first group verbs. So we are saying second group verbs are verbs ending in IR. Again, what you're supposed to note is that they are regular verbs. Am I clear there?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
please note this, NB. Not all verbs ending in IR are second group verbs. Not all verbs ending in IR are second group verbs, because we have quite a number of third group verbs ending in IR. Not all verbs ending in IR are second group verbs. That is to say, we have some third group verbs having the same ending, just like the second group verbs. Therefore, it is necessary for you to master the most common second group verbs, which I've given you in that document. So we are going to look at some of them here. So the very, very common second group verb that you should not confuse with the third group verb. Just like I've said, we have third group verbs, some third group verbs having the same ending, just like the second group verbs, okay? So please take note of that. So as much as you're saying that second group verbs ending in IR, please just have it in mind that we have some third group verbs having the same ending as second group verb. So that's to say that all verbs ending in IR are second group verbs. That is misleading. So I think that point is clear, okay? Examples of second group verbs are the following. Examples, we have a verb like, Dorcas, you can see very well? John, can you see?
Yes, I can.
How do you read that verb?
Finir.
So finir is to finish. That's a second group verb, a verb that you should familiarize yourself with. We have the verb. Dorcas, read that.
I can't see well.
Sorry?
I can't see well.
what you do, can you double click that? It should be the whole screen. It will be easy for you. Just make it appear the whole screen. Like you pin it, the whole screen. Have you done that?
Yes.
Can you see now?
No.
But the first one, the first verb.
Yes, I can see.
There is okay.
Yes.
Read that verb.
Shonir.
Shwazir. Shwazir. It is Choisir. Shwazir. Okay?
Okay.
Can you see it very well now?
Yes.
So we say Shwazir. So Shwazir is to choose. Finir is to finish. We have the verb. Read that, Dorcas. Yes, Dorcas, read the third verb.
Not visible.
Wow. Can you see it there? When you can
No.
see it,
Yeah.
read it.
Reuzi.
Where you see to succeed. So I think what I'm going to do, let me just use the, how do you call it? Let me just share with you the notes, because there I'll be wasting a lot of time, which I don't intend to. Okay?
Yeah.
Let me just share the notes. I really wanted to use that board. Now, okay. Natasha Elizabeth, how are you? Natasha, can you hear me? Check your audio. If you're experiencing any problem, chat me so that I help you how you're supposed to, because I can't hear you. So let me explain myself as I share the, so I'm sharing the screen. I believe you can see the screen, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. So, John, you will read. Let me stop the webcam so that you can see the entire screen.
Regular IR verbs.
Mhm.
Verbs dusium group. There are several hundreds regular French verbs that end in IR. To conjugate them, remove the infinitive ending and add one of the following verbs endings.
So just stop there. So we are told there are several hundreds regular French verbs that ends in IR. So remember I said that just like first group verbs, second group verbs are also regular verbs, okay? So we are told these verbs are regular, just like the first group verbs. So how do you conjugate these verbs, okay? How do you conjugate these verbs? Just like we did with the ending of first group verbs, we were removing the ER, then we were adding some ending. So it's the same thing we do with this. Remember, these verbs ends in what? These verbs end in IR. So to conjugate them, we drop the IR. So let me just give you some examples of these verbs. So second verbs, that's where we are, okay? Second verbs. Second group verbs. So remember I've said these are verbs ending in, they are verbs ending in IR. IR. Remember I've said also they are regular. They are regular verb. Okay. Now let's look at examples. Examples of these verbs. We have verbs like finir. Okay. Finir is to finish. We have a verb like choisir. Choisir is to choose. Okay. We have a verb like réussir. Just a minute. Change the language. Réussir. Réussir is to succeed. Okay. We have the verb like obéir. Okay. Obéir is to obey. We have a verb like réfléchir. Réfléchir is to reflect. Okay. Reflect on something, deep thinking. Okay. We have a verb like grossir, to add weight. Okay. We have a verb like punir, to punish. Okay. We have a verb like remplir, to fill, kujaza. Remplir, like a form. Okay. A form. Remplir. We have a verb like maigrir, the opposite of grossir, to lose weight. Okay. So maigrir, to lose weight. Okay. We have a verb like benir, to bless. Benir, to bless, etc. So these are just some of the verbs which are very common. You need to know them. We have a verb like reunir, to reunite. It's come from that verb unir, to unite. Okay. So these are some of the second group verbs that you're supposed to know. So I've said the verb finir is to finish, choisir is to choose, obéir is to obey, réfléchir is to reflect, like thinking. Okay. Grossir is to add weight, punir is to punish, remplir is to fill, maigrir is to lose weight, benir is to bless, reunir is to reunite, unir is to unite, etc. The list is. So basically, those are some of the main examples of the second group. So conjugation, that's where we are, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Conjugation. How do you conjugate? How do you conjugate? How do you conjugate the? How do you conjugate the second part? So we are told you form the stem. So take, for example, the verb choisir, okay? The verb choisir, to choose, okay? So you form the stem, and the stem of that verb is without what? The ending. So to that stem, you add the endings as follows, okay? So first person je, okay? The stem is the same. Then you add what? I, S. So we say, je choisis. I choose or I'm choosing, okay? That is the first person. Second person, chi, stem, right? You add the same ending. So meaning the first person and the second person in the second group verbs, the verb is conjugated the same way, okay? Il, stroke, elle, stroke, on, the verb, you add what? To the stem, it, choisi, pronounce the same, just like the first two. So it is it, but now, nous, we say the same stem, but you add I-S-S-O-N-S. Please take note of that. You add I-S-S-O-N-S to nous, so we say choisissons. Nous choisissons. We choose or we are choosing. Vous, same stem, but you add I-S-S-E-Z, okay? Choisissez. Choisissez, as you can see. Then we have il stroke elle, il stroke elle, third person plural, same stem, of course, but you add I-S-S-E-N-T. I-S-S-E-N-T, that is the ending you add to the third person of any second group verb. So basically, this is what you are supposed to do. So all second group verbs, the first three persons are pronounced the same. Then the last three, the pronunciation changes from one person to another. So we say, je choisis, tu choisis, il, elle choisit, nous choisissons, vous choisissez, il, elle choisissent. Choisissons, choisissez, on, elle, ils. So, ils sont, ils, is. But choisi is silent. Tu choisis is silent. Il, elle, on choisit. T is silent. SST is silent. But now, the last three persons, ils sont, ils, is. That is how you're supposed to conjugate the second group verbs. Any second group verbs is conjugated that way, as highlighted. And that is why the document you have there, this document. So we are told, you see, je, you add that. So the hyphen is the stem. Where there's the hyphen, that is where you put the stem, which is common from the first person to the last person. And that's why we are told second group verbs are regular verbs. So they have a common base. What is changing is the ending as per the subject. And again, what you need to take home here is that the first person je and the second person chi, then you have to know that the verb is conjugated the same way because they have the same ending, is, okay? And then you take note of the pronunciation. So here, example of the verb you are given here, the verb remplir, to fill. So we say je remplis, tu remplis, il, elle, on remplit, nous remplissons, vous remplissez, il, elle remplissent, okay? So basically, we have examples of the second group verbs here, regular, of course, quite a number of them. But before I talk about that, I want you to note also this. that when you have a verb beginning with a vowel, what happens? The subject pronoun becomes a what? A apostrophe. For example, the verb you need, okay? The verb you need to conjugate, we say J apostrophe, okay? Uni, okay? Juni, tu, uni, right? Il, stroke L, uni, T. Then in the spoken French, the sound Z is heard between the subject pronoun and the verb that follows. So we say nous unissons. You see that? Nous unissons. Nous unissons. S and U. S and U, you slur that. Huh? Let me just do that. So that you see. Mhm. You see what I've done there?
Yeah.
So that you slur that, you link them. So we say nous unissons, okay? Same with vous. So we say vous unissez, okay? Then finally, il, same also. Elle, sorry. Eunice, Eunice. So that is what happens. So I want to invite you to try to conjugate this verb. Okay? Try to
Okay.
conjugate this verb. Réussir. Réussir. Try to conjugate that verb. Réussir is to succeed, remember. Okay?
Yeah.
Réussir is to succeed. Try to conjugate it. Natasha Elizabeth, can you hear me? Unmute yourself.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, this is your first lesson, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, this is our fourth meeting, and
Yes.
I believe you've been going through what we have done because they are recorded, so
Yes.
that you try to catch up with us. Should you have any problem, please don't hesitate to look for me, okay? You will send me your number so that I add you. We have a WhatsApp group, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. So you send your answer through chats, eh? Okay.
Yeah.
John, why have you used J apostrophe?
Apostrophe. I was confused. I never knew what to use.
Are you supposed to use it there?
No, I'm not. Sorry.
When are you supposed to use J apostrophe?
When you're talking about yourself.
No, not when you talk about yourself. What determines whether you're supposed to J apostrophe or not is when the verb, if the verb that follows, the verb in question, the verb you are conjugating begins with a vowel or silent H. Remember we talked about that when we talking about verbs beginning with a vowel or silent H, first group verbs.
Yeah.
Yes, so when a verb begins with a vowel or silent H, what happens? J becomes J apostrophe because two vowels cannot follow one another, whether first group, second group, or third group verb. So anytime you talk about any verb beginning with a vowel or silent H, then you have to use J apostrophe. So that's what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
Elizabeth, I hope we are together.
Yes.
Good. So that is that. Dorcas, I saw I've seen your attempt. The accent is the one you've changed the direction. You put it the other way around, but it's supposed to be the opposite. Okay. Now we have got two accents. We have got accent. We have got acute accent, accent aigu, and then accent grave. So acute is the right one, the right hand side. The one you've used is the left hand side. Okay, when you slant it. So I think that's the only thing I can say about that. So the conjugation of second group verbs is very, very simple, just like the first group verb. But the most important thing now is knowing the verbs falling under the second group verb. So we have the verb, so common, regular, IR verb. So the first verb there is abolir. So abolir is to abolish, okay?
Yeah.
Abolir is to abolish. We have the verb accomplir to
Accomplish.
accomplish, okay?
Yeah.
So once you know that verb, the meaning, and now we've talked about the conjugation, you understand how to conjugate the verb. I don't see anything that should stop you on now using that verb to express yourself. Then we have the verb agir, to act, okay?
Yeah.
To act on something or to attend to something, okay? Agrandir is to enlarge or to increase. For example, when I'm writing on the board, then you find that it is tiny, then you tell me, Monsieur, est-ce que tu peux agrandir? May you kindly enlarge or increase the font, okay? To increase, for example, the font is too small, you are struggling to see. So we use the verb what? Agrandir, okay? Then,
Okay.
avertir is to warn someone, right?
Yeah.
Avertir. Like you caution someone to, no, you did this, next time don't repeat this. So the verb you are supposed to use is what? Avertir, okay? Then we have the next verb is the verb batir. Batir is to
Bill.
build, okay?
Yes.
So Dorcas, what are you building? Your career. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes. Batir. Then we have the verb benir. I talked about it, is to bless. Now the verb blesser is not to bless. The verb blesser is the first group verb, okay? Blesser means to hurt, but benir is to bless, okay? Then we have the verb blanchir, to whiten or to lighten, okay?
Okay.
Ladies, I hope ladies in the class are getting me, eh?
Yes.
You get my point?
Yes.
Yeah, like now you are as light as Monsieur, like I am. Then now you want to make it more lighter. You get it? So we say blanchir. Now choisir, we have talked about that verb is to choose. We make choices, and we say choices have got consequences. Yes. We have convertir, to convert, eh? To convert, whether it is faith, whether it is anything that you are converting from one to another. So one thing to another is convertir. Definir is to define, okay?
Yes.
Établir is to establish.
Establish.
We have the verb étourdir, to stand, to defend, or to make what? Dizzy, okay? Finir is to finish. Franchir is to clear an obstacle. You see that? Specifically, an obstacle, not anything else, okay? Franchir, for example, when you are going through difficulties, so, and then you manage to, you manage to come up with ways to overcome. So the verb is what? Affranchir, okay? Grossir is to gain weight or to get fat, okay?
Yes.
Guérir. Remember I told you when letter G for letter U is silent. So we say guérir. Guérir is to cure, to heal, or to recover, okay?
Yes.
If I remember, we talked about that verb when we're talking about the greeting. So when someone tell you bon guérison, get well soon. So get healed, recover quick recovery. So we say to cure, to heal, to recover, okay? Investir, to invest, okay? Investir, to invest. In knowledge, you invest, you know, in project is an investment. So the verb is investir, okay? Maigrir, I talked about that verb. Maigrir is to lose weight or to get thin, okay? The opposite of grossir, okay? Nourrir is to feed or to nourish, okay? Nourrir. That is where we get the word nourriture. You add you add nourriture. You drop letter R, then you add T-U-R-E, nourriture, that is food. So obey is to obey, okay? We have the verb punir. I also talked about it. Punir is to punish, okay?
Yes.
Reflexir is to reflect, to think. Now, there's a difference. Let me go back to God. So we have the verb reflexir. Reflexir, we are told to reflect or to think. Then we have the verb penser, which is a second group, a first group verb, sorry, a first group verb. So penser is a first group verb, but reflexir is a second group verb. Now, what's the difference? Because penser is also to think, reflexir is also to think. But now the difference is this, get me. The verb penser deals with feelings. Are we together?
Yes.
Like when I'm thinking about my country, think about my friend, think about school, think about my future, etc. So it's to do with what? Feelings. But the verb reflexir is reflecting, thinking in, you know, something like you don't want to make a mistake. You want to make the right decision. I hope you are getting my explanation. For example, a project is not something you're going to put your feelings, okay? Like, in other words, the verb penser is to do with missing something or missing someone. You get it?
Yes.
But reflexir, when you say, for example, I like giving example of Dorcas when someone proposed. When someone proposed something to you, there you really need to take your time to make the right decision, okay? So there, you cannot use the verb penser. You have to tell that person, je vais réfléchir. I'm going to reflect on it so that you come up with the right word, the right decision. Because remember I've said, the verb choisir is to choose. So choices have got consequences, because when you choose something, you made what? A decision. So the decision you've made, you are bound by it. You see it? So that's where now you talk about the verb what? Reflexir. I believe you've gotten my explanation as far as how those two verbs are supposed to be used, okay? So when you say, je pense à ma mère, I'm thinking about my mom, it means that I'm missing my mother, okay? Je pense à mes amis, I'm thinking about my friend, so meaning that you are missing your friend. But when you say, je réfléchis à mes projets, I'm reflecting on my projects, thinking about my projects, okay? Serious thoughts, okay? So that is it. So that is very, very important for you to understand the difference between the verb réfléchir and the verb penser, which is the verb penser is a first group verb, sorry. But remember here we're talking about the first group. We are talking about second group verb, sorry. I've said the verb penser is a first group verb. I just have to just bring it on board now that we're talking about the verb réfléchir, which is reflect or to think. Remplir, I talked about it. Remplir is to fill. It can be a cup, okay? It can be a bucket, anything that you are filling, it can be a form, okay? Okay, a form, you fill a form. So the verb is remplir. You fill a cup with some water or juice or whatever. The verb is still remplir. Réussir is to succeed. Rougir, rougir. From the word rouge, rouge is red. So rougir is to blush or to turn red. We have the verb saisir, to seize. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Vieillir is to age or to grow old. Yes, we are growing old every day. Vieillir, to age or to grow old. So those are verbs that you are supposed to know. They are very, very common verbs. So as you can see, you can master quite a number of them so that you don't confuse them with the third group verbs, which we will talk about as we continue learning this language. Because remember I said from the beginning that not all verbs ending in IR are second group verbs. So that is very, very important for you to note. Any question? So examples of sentences, for example, let's take the verb, for example, réussir. Réussir, okay? Réussir, to succeed. So I want you to complete this sentence using the verb, okay? So, can you complete that sentence using the verb réussir? Yes, are we done? Hello?
Yeah, not yet.
Elizabeth? Now, Dorcas, check your ending. Remember the ending of the second group verbs. Check the stem. I know that verb can confuse because already it has double S. So that should not confuse you. Just check by dropping the IR, then you reason with the subject, okay? We have two people here. So we have Dorcas and Elizabeth. I believe you can see the screen. Dorcas and Elizabeth. So the stem of that verb is that. That's the stem, right? So that stem, we're in the third person plural here. Third person plural. So that's where you add I-double-S-E-N-T, okay? So we say, Dorcas et Elizabeth réussissent dans l'examen. Dorcas and Elizabeth succeeds in the exam. So basically, that is what you are supposed to do. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
As simple as that. Okay?
Yes.
So, Elizabeth, I believe you've gotten my explanation. We have two names. So remember, I talked about the endings. I talked about the endings of the second group verbs. First person you add is. Second person you add is. Third person you add it. No, you add ISS. Okay, ISSONS. Vu you add ISSEZ. So this is what's supposed to guide you based on the ending of, based on the subject, I mean. So if the subject is the first person je, you add is. Second person tu, you add is. Third person you add it. Nu you add ISSONS. Vu you add ISSEZ. Then ISSENT, okay? That is
Yes.
that. Very important. So that is what is supposed to guide you here. So when you mention a name, you're in the third person. So Elizabeth, I want you to get that, because when you mention a name, you're in the third person. So third person, you can see it ends with what? It ends with the IT. But now here we have got two names, so it's plural. The third person plural ends with ISSENT. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Great. So I think that is all about the second group verbs. So maybe just to try to use some example. So for example, you can say, le touriste finissent, okay? Finissent, les touristes finissent leur réunion, okay? Their meeting or leur conférence or la conférence, okay? The tourists are finishing the conference, meaning that they are coming to the end of the conference. So you can tell someone, tu finis tes devoirs, your assignments. Devoir is what? Assignment. Tu finis tes devoirs. I can also say, nous réfléchissons beaucoup. Réfléchir. Nous réfléchissons beaucoup. We reflect a lot. We think a lot, right? We have, you can also say, for example, le professeur punit l'étudiant. The lecturer is punishing what? The student. Okay? We can also say, vous choisissez la couleur bleue. Okay? You choose the blue color. So basically, that's how you use these verbs, okay? La couleur bleue. I can also say, les étudiants unissent cet après-midi. The students are uniting, meaning meeting, okay? Cet après-midi, okay? So those are just some examples of how you can use the second group verbs to express yourself or yourselves. Any question? Swali?
No.
I'm okay, Monsi.
Elizabeth? Natasha?
Yes.
Yes. Are we okay?
Yes.
Good. So so basically that is as far as the second group verbs are concerned. Let me open a document and share with you another. This document should be very, very familiar to you. Second group verbs. Yeah, you see there? Dorcas, can you read?
From the second conjugation.
Yeah, second conjugation verbs. So we call them second conjugation verbs or second group verbs.
Yeah.
We're still about the same thing.
Verbs whose infinitive ends in IR are second conjugation verbs. The ending I, is, is, it, is on, is isn't are added to the stem.
So you see, we are told these verbs you add, but those are the endings I'd given you. You add is, so is, it, iwsons, iwsz, where I've told you the first three, we say s silent, t silent, okay? So we say that's the pronunciation. Then ison, ise, is. So you are given the verb finir, and you can see the endings are highlighted in bold. So we say je finis. The verb finir is to finish. Je finis, tu finis, il finit, elle finit, on finit, nous finissons, vous finissez, ils finissent, elles finissent. That's the third person plural. Then you are given also example there, the verb choisir, to choose. Je choisis, tu choisis, il choisit, elle choisit, on choisit, nous choisissons, vous choisissez, ils, elles choisissent. So you are given some examples there. Okay? So John, read the first one, the first example.
Je finis ma leçon.
You understand what it means, class?
Yeah, to finish my lesson.
I finished my lesson. I finished, not I've finished, I finished. I'm finishing, meaning I'm winding up, I'm done. So, je finis ma leçon. Second one, Elizabeth, try to read.
I can't see.
You can't see the screen.
Yeah, it's small.
You're using a phone, eh?
Yes.
What you do, you enlarge. Just touch the screen. Just touch your screen and then enlarge it. You can do it from your end.
I'm seeing now.
Are you okay now?
Yes.
Good. Try to read the second example.
Tu obeys or
Loi, obey. S is silent. So we say tu obéis aux lois. You respect the law, the laws of the land. So obéir is to obey. Dorcas?
El l'enfant.
Elle punit. The verb punir. So we say elle punit, E-double-L-E, elle punit l'enfant. She's punishing the child. Okay?
Okay.
Then we have nous choisissons une peinture. Peinture is a paint. Paint. So, nous choisissons une peinture. We are choosing or we choose a paint. Vous remplissez la tasse. Tasse, the word tasse is, tasse is a cup, kikombe. Remember I told you, you can, for example, a client is asking you, Oma, you are asking the client to fill the cup, okay? Okay?
Yeah.
Either half or full, half full or full, you know, depending on what direction you've been given. So we say, vous remplissez la tasse. You are filling the cup. Then, il réussit à l'examen. They all réussir, succeed. So they are succeeding. So that's why you get the word success, okay? Réussir, succeed, which is linked with success. So they are succeeding in the exam, meaning that they are past the exam. They are passing the exam, they are making it, okay? Now below is a list of the most common IR verb, just to add on some of those verbs we are talked about. So we have them here again. The verb accompli, to accomplish, agrandir, to enlarge or to increase, uploaded is to upload, kupiga makofi, okay? Then, or to appreciate, you know, when you upload someone, you say, hey, I'm happy with what you've done. So, uploader, okay? Not just kupiga makofi, but different ways to appreciate someone. So we say uploader, to upload, okay? Okay? Partir, to build. Choisir, to choose. Obeir is to embellish. We have envahir, to invade. Finir, to finish. Grandir is to become bigger. Yeah, this verb, don't confuse that verb with the verb agrandir. Agrandir is to enlarge, but grandir is to become bigger in the sense of kukua, okay? Kukua. Maybe just to give you an example, for example, you meet maybe someone with his daughter or a son, whoever, then after some times you meet the same person, it's, hey, umekua, you've grown, okay? That's the verb, grandir, okay? To grow or to become big. So obeir is to obey, punir is to punish, reflexer is to think or to reflect. Remember, we talked about that verb. Rompler is to fill, reunir is to reunite, reusir is to succeed, saisir is to seize. Okay, now, that is as far as the second group verbs are concerned. Any question? The most important thing the verbs are given you, you should be in a position to use them. And when we talk about application, for now in the present simple tense, you should be in a position to express yourself, of course, using those verbs. So please try to master majority of those verbs. There are not many. And by that, once you know the verb, as I always say, I don't see anything that should stop you from using the same verb to express yourself, okay?
Okay.
Any question? If you have a question, you ask.
No.
Okay, so I want to talk about something else, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk about now the verb, interrogation. We have learned verbs, right? We have learned verbs. So once we have learned verbs, now the next thing we want to talk about is asking questions. Interrogation, asking questions. Okay? Interrogation. So write that down. L'interrogation. So we have got different ways of asking questions. Remember, we have got open questions, we have got closed questions, and different ways of asking whether it is an open question or closed questions. So that is what we want to learn. Now, because when you engage someone in a dialogue or in a conversation, whether direct or indirect, at certain point you must ask a question. You are supposed to engage the other person. And how do you engage the other person? You engage the other person by what? By posing some questions or asking some questions, okay? Are we there?
Yeah.
So I want us to talk about l'interrogation, questions, les questions. So John, you can read?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Knowing how to ask questions is essential for making plans, shopping, traveling, getting to know people, and any other activity that requires obtaining information. There are two different types of questions and different ways to ask each type.
Very good. Just stop there. We are told it is essential for what? Making plans, shopping. When you go to a shop, so you must ask a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Traveling, getting to know people, and any other activity that requires obtaining what? Information. How do you obtain information? You obtain information by asking what? Asking a question. There are two different types of questions and different ways of asking each type. So that's what we want to learn. Now, I want to draw you to two verbs, the verb demander and the verb poser. So demander is to ask, but you cannot use it. You cannot use it here. So we say demander. Demander is to ask. This verb means to ask, right? Then we have the verb poser. What are we told about the verb? That's what I want to draw your attention to. So to ask, we say it's the same as what? Demander, okay? But to ask a question, you see the difference. There's a difference between asking for something and asking a question. I don't know whether you're getting the sense of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yes. You can ask forgiveness. You can ask for help or seek for help, because demander is also to seek. But now to ask a question is what? Poser. Okay?
Yeah.
So poser une question. That's what I want you to understand. Poser une question. So you cannot say, that's what we are told. You cannot say demander une question. No. You say what? Poser une question. So we have closed questions, yes or no what? Questions. Someone asks you, have you eaten? But we have people who don't even know how to respond to open or to close question, I mean. You ask someone, have you eaten? No, nimekula tu, you know, ameanza na story. I'm sure you've met such kind of people. You ask someone a simple question, and there are also those people you ask a question, before they answer, they ask you a question. I ask you, for example, I ask Natasha, Natasha, unaitwa nani? Why are you asking? You get that? Or you ask someone, have you eaten? Why are you asking? Answer that question first, then you ask your question. Yeah, it is making sense when you tell me, I ask you, have you eaten? Tell me yes or no. Then ask me, why were you asking? You see, but when I ask you a question, then you ask another question, then there's no communication taking place, literally. Okay? Remember, we are told to seek information, to obtain information, you ask what? You ask a question. And when you ask a question, you need a response, not another question. Okay? So Dorcas, read that part.
Closed questions Yes, no questions, simple questions.
Mhm. So question fermé, fermé comes from the verb to close. You remember the verb fermé, to close. So,
Yes.
so as we are talking about question fermé, that is close question. A close question is a yes or no question. So we say question total. It's a total question. So seeking for either yes or no. Proceed.
Questions which allow a limited selection of answers, a simple yes or no, are called closed questions. In English, closed questions always start with do, be, or have, while in French, they typically CE, QUE, or which inversion.
Yeah, so that word, that expression we are going to talk about it is read as esque, okay? Esque. Esque. I'm going to talk about it, and also we have the inversion. So basically, let me now use this different ways of asking questions. So the first one I want us to talk about is the tone variation. So please follow. I'm going to deviate a little bit from that document I've shared with you. You will get it easily from the angle I'm taking. So the first one, you're talking about the tone variation. Sawa sawa?
Yes.
We call this intonation in French, okay? Intonation, the tone variation. So here is where you ask a question. It is very simple, by the way. It is very simple. So it is very simple. Can you read that statement?
To man. Mon. To mon.
Tu
Mon.
manges. Tu manges. Tuko pamoja. I want you to follow what I'm doing. Tu manges. Tu manges. You are eating. Sindio?
Yes.
Now, I want us to make that a question. Make it a question. You see what I've done?
No. Yes.
What's the difference between the two? The first one is affirmative, tu manges. Now, how do you read the second one now?
To manger.
To mange.
Tu?
Mange.
Tu manges, tu manges. You get it? The first
Yes.
one, tu manges. The second one is to mange. Now you understand what I mean by the tone variation.
Yes.
Yes, you see the tone will, like someone asks you, Paul, Paul. Paul is a question, Paul. You see that?
Yes.
Make that a question.
Dorcas habit a Nairobi.
Yes, with a question. You see this one has a full stop, but now a question must have a question tag. You see that? So
Yes.
a question here we say, Dorcas habit a Nairobi. I think you've understood what we mean by the tone variation. So for example, we say, d'accord, d'accord, with a question mark, okay? Without a question mark, it means okay. The response is okay, okay? D'accord? D'accord. So I ask you, for example, tu t'appelles Natasha. You see that? Tu t'appelles Natasha.
Yes.
So that's the first one. I hope that is clear, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
The second way of asking a question, the second one of asking a question is this. Now, subject, okay? Subject, verb, inversion, okay? Subject, verb, inversion. This one is also, so write this. Subject, verb, inversion. So what happens here? Remember, normally a sentence must flow this way. It is the verb, then the subject, then the verb, okay? But here, when you talk about the subject verb inversion, this is what we mean. So subject, normally a sentence should have the subject plus the what? Verb. Sawa sawa. But in this case, let me show you something here. I believe you are getting my point from that, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, so you invert. So the verb comes first. So when that happens, so just note this, that under the subject verb inversion, the verb and the subject is separated by an hyphen, with an hyphen, okay? The verb and the subject are separated when the verb comes first, so the two must be separated by what? An hyphen, okay?
Yes.
So that's one thing you should know, okay? Separated by an hyphen, okay? An hyphen, yes, that's actually written, an hyphen. So, for example, I want just, for example here, you see this statement, I'm just going to use the same, chi, okay? So, that statement as it is, no. So, for example, tu parles français, okay? Tu parles français, you speak French, eh? So how do you make this a question by subject verb inversion? Can you try? From my explanation here, from this. First and foremost, I believe you are seeing my screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
So make that a question by inverting the verb and the subject and the verb. So the verb comes first. Yes, John, try.
I'm kind of confused.
Where is the subject in that sentence?
The subject.
Pal.
Pal.
No. There's a difference between the subject and the verb.
Two.
Chi. Then the verb is pal.
Pal.
Here we talk about the subject verb what? Subject verb inversion. So we say now pal. You see that?
Yes.
No. Parles-tu? As simple as that. Parles-tu français? You see that? There, even if you don't change your tone, it's a question. Just like, let me give you an example in English. You are Natasha, you get it?
Yeah.
You
Yes.
are, I use the subject are. You are Natasha. You are Natasha is an affirmative statement, but you are Natasha. Now the subject verb inversion of the same, are you? You get it?
Yes.
Are you, do you, are you Natasha? So are you Natasha? So are is coming first. You are, you must change the tone. That's the first way of asking a question we are talking about. Now here we're talking about now the subject verb inversion. So are you? So that is now where I'm saying, are you in French? Like now you say now, do you speak French? Do you speak French? That's now the what we call about the inversion. Because we were told from the statement, you say the word do, be, you know. Yes, so do you speak French? That's what is equivalent of what? Subject verb in inversion. So when that happens, then the verb and the subject must be separated by what? Then hyphen. So parles-tu français? So remember the same statement, the same, I can make it a question just as it is by changing what? The tone. So tu parles français? So the same question I can ask differently. Either tu parles français or parles-tu français, which is the subject verb inversion. Are we together?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's the same. For example, we also have tu t'appelles Jacqueline. That is the subject verb. That is the tone variation. Tu t'appelles it's double P. Tu t'appelles Jacqueline. Now the subject verb inversion is this. You see, this is the verb as it is. You get it?
Yeah.
So this is what
Yes.
I'm going to add. So I will say t'appelles-tu, okay? T'appelles, but I must put t'appelles-tu Jacqueline. As simple as that. That's what we call the subject verb inversion. So I want to try and make this one's question through subject verb inversion. I'm going to give you some statement. You make them a question through what? Subject verb inversion, okay?
Yes.
So that is one. The second one is third one is then the last one is yeah, try to form a question using those kindly. Through, remember, I'm specific. Form a question through subject verb what? Inversion, okay?
Yeah.
Yes, kindly. Dorcas, I've seen what you've written. That's great. Natasha Elizabeth, wonderful. John, I'm waiting for you.
Yeah.
Êtes-vous, Monsieur Dixon? Allons-nous à Paris? Aimes-tu ton père? Allez-vous en France? So I think that is understood. And it's very, very simple, especially when you have got the three subject on vous, nous, and tu. Okay? So you simply invert the two. And remember what I've said, they are separated by a hyphen. I think all of you got it right. And that is very simple. So on that note, allow me to make progress to the third now. The third way of asking what? Forming a question, right? We have done the first two. We're in the third, where you can also ask the same question. So using the expression, okay? Using the expression est-ce que. I want you to get this right, eh? It is also very simple, okay?
Yes.
Using the expression est-ce que. Now, please note this. This is a neutral expression, right? Right, that it is a neutral expression, meaning it does not have any meaning, okay? It is a neutral expression which is used to form or to ask questions, which is used to ask a question, which is used to ask a question by avoiding either tone variation or subject verb inversion. I've said it is a neutral expression used to ask a question or to form a question by avoiding the first two. And the first we have talked about is the tone variation or the subject verb inversion. Is that clear?
Yes.
Natasha and John, are we together?
Yeah.
Natasha?
Yes.
Good. Are we done with that? No.
Yes.
It is always put at the beginning of a sentence. It is placed at the beginning of a sentence. Est-ce que, meaning the sentence must start with what? Est-ce que, unless otherwise. So it is always placed at the beginning of a sentence. It is always placed or used at the beginning of a sentence. Examples. You see what I've done? The same
Yes.
the same questions you had formed. Now I'm using what? Est-ce que, you see that? Est-ce que vous êtes Monsieur Dixon? So meaning that question, we can form that question in three ways, either through tone variation or through subject inversion or through what? Using the expression what? Est-ce que. I believe you are getting it. Like the same question I say, vous êtes Monsieur Dixon, that's tone variation. Êtes-vous Monsieur Dixon, subject verb inversion. Now I'm using the third way, the same question. Now I'm using what? Est-ce que. Est-ce que vous êtes Monsieur Dixon? I don't need to change the tone. I don't need to invert. So through using that est-ce que, automatically it is what? It is a question. Is that clear?
Yes.
Dorcas formed the second one. Nous allons à Paris. Use est-ce que.
Est-ce que nous allons à Paris?
Yeah, as simple as that. Est-ce que, simple. Est-ce que nous allons, okay? Nous allons à Paris. That's a question. John, next.
Est-ce que tu aimes ton père?
How do you that word, John? Est-ce que tu aimes? Remember the ES, S and E are silent, okay?
Yeah.
Est-ce que tu aimes? Est-ce que tu aimes? Est-ce que tu aimes ton père? Okay? Then finally, Natasha.
Est-ce que vous allez en France?
Est-ce que vous allez en France? Okay? Est-ce que, pardon, est-ce que vous allez, est-ce que vous allez en France? So, ladies and gentlemen, I think you've understood that. Huh? Different ways of
Yes.
asking questions. Est-ce que tu t'appelles Natasha? Are you Natasha? As simple as that. Okay. Now, let me go back to the document. So you see, we are told here that est-ce que est-ce que, the phrase est-ce que literally, it is it that, you see, that's what I was talking about. Is it that you are going to Paris? Is it that you are called? So it's just the other way. Like for me, it is a neutral expression. So it is the inversion of what? Ce que, which means this is that, okay? And in reality, est-ce que has no meaning. In fact, that's what I just told you, right? It has what? No meaning at all. It simply goes in front of a statement to turn it into what? Into a question. This is the most common way of asking question. I would encourage you to embrace this expression. Are we together? Yeah. It is very simple. It begins what? A sentence. And then the rest come just as it flows. Like for example, like I can say, est-ce que I say you are going to Paris. Tu vas à Paris. Est-ce que tu vas à Paris? You are eating salad. Est-ce que tu manges la salade? Tu parles français. Est-ce que tu parles français? Tu habites à Nairobi. Est-ce que tu habites à Nairobi? I think it is very simple, right? And even the tone variation. In fact, all those ways of asking question, all of them are very simple, so long as you understand what you're doing. Est-ce que vous aimez voyager? Do you love traveling? Or do you like to travel? Est-ce qu'il est prêt? Is he ready? Est-ce qu'elle est belle? Is she beautiful? Est-ce que tu connais Dixon? Do you know Dixon? ETC. So I think that is very, very simple too. So the inversion I've talked about, right? I don't need to repeat it. Informal questions. This is what I talked about, the tone variation. So, vous aimez voyager, you see. So this is what I call the tone variation, what they call the informal questions, okay? In an informal question or situation, when you expect the answer, your question to be yes, no, you can simply make a statement and raising the pitch at the end, just like in English, okay? So basically, that is what I called that's what I call what? The tone variation. Then I want you to know this. The only question tag we have in French is this. You see, sorry. You see what I've highlighted? That is the only question tag we have in French. N'est-ce pas? Okay? N'est-ce pas? So like we say, elle voyage à Nairobi, n'est-ce pas? He's traveling to Nairobi, isn't he? You see, so it means all the question tag you have in English, the only question tag that can translate to all those is what? Is n'est-ce pas, okay? N'est-ce pas. So for example, you can see the examples you are given there. Vous aimez voyager, n'est-ce pas? You like traveling, right? You see that? Il est prêt, n'est-ce pas? Is ready, isn't he? Elles ont mangé, n'est-ce pas? They have eaten, haven't they? So you see, the same statement is meaning right, isn't he? Haven't they? So that's why I've told you in French we only have one question tag, which is what? N'est-ce pas? Am I clear there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, negation. So negative questions. On the other hand, when you expect the answer to be no, you can have two options. Formal, use the inversion with a negative adverb, or informal, make a negative statement and raise your pitch at the end. For example, n'aimez-vous pas voyager? N'aimez-vous pas voyager? So you see, it's just like vous aimez voyager. So you negate everything. N'aimez-vous pas? N'aimez-vous? Aimez-vous? Do you like? So n'aimez-vous pas voyager? Don't you like what? Traveling. Don't you like traveling? So you negate the, because we say vous aimez, vous n'aimez pas normally. So we'll talk, I want to put that pending because we'll talk about also the negation next time, okay? So that is that. But there's one thing I want to bring on board. That is the third person singular. For example, il est, il. For example, we talk about the third person, il stroke elle. So when forming a question with the third person singular, third person plural, and their plural form, il stroke what? Elle, you have to separate the two with a T, which we use it just to link the two words. So for example, I want to say, il est Paul. I want you to get me, il est Paul. So the question of this, the way we are supposed to ask is this. You see that? Then hyphen, then T, sawa. T hyphen, okay? Then il. So we say et il. You cannot say a il Paul, et il Paul. So the question becomes et il Paul. That is as simple as that. So here, with the third person, singular and plural, you insert what? This T between the subject and the verb, okay? As simple as that. For example, when you say, il voyage à Nairobi, okay? How do you form a question there? Voyage, I hope you are getting me, eh?
Yes.
You see that? Voyage-t-il à Nairobi? Voyage-t-il à Nairobi? Voyage-t-il à Nairobi? Is he traveling in Nairobi? Is he, is she, are they? Okay? So that is that. So for example, when you have a statement like elles vont en classe. Elles vont en classe. They are going to class. Huh? Elles vont en classe. They are going to class. They are going to class. Elles vont en classe. Can you try to form a question? Remember here, I'm just talking about this when it comes to what? The subject verb what? With subject verb inversion. With est-ce que, you just say est-ce qu'il est Paul, is he? Paul, huh? Est-ce qu'il est Paul? Il est Paul, but now with the inversion, that's where you introduce what? That T, separating the verb and the subject pronoun, il, elle, and their plural form. So when you are to use, sorry, this should be S. This way is put it, yeah. So can you try to form a question through subject verb inversion using that kindly? Try that. Yes, John?
So the answer that is be written must end with a question mark.
Yeah, any question must, whether it is using SQ, tone variation, or subject verb inversion, any question must end with a question mark.
Okay.
Yes. Dorcas and Natasha, your question, you've changed. You've changed the question. You know why? The question I've asked is elles vont en classe. Elles vont en classe. Hein? Sindio? That's the question.
Yes.
So you've changed it. So this is what you do. So you start with vont, then, but now you see this one ends with letter T. You see this? This ends with letter T. So it's simple. So this one will remain. So we say vont, that's the technicality, vontel. Vontel en classe. En classe. In fact, let me refer you to a document. There's somewhere that is explained. Huh? Yeah, this is what I was explaining as far as question formation is concerned. You see, the hyphen I was talking about. So I think it'll be very easy for you to understand now this document based on what I've explained. So this document is more detailed, and yeah, you see here. Where is that? Just a minute. I want to show you something. So you see this the page. You see that page where I am.
Yes.
You see the last two statement. A-t-elle jamais fait du ski? That's an interrogation, right? So you cannot say a-elle. So you see that T. That's what I'm talking about. Y a-t-il personne intéressée? Another one. So the third person, interrogation, construction of words. I didn't get that, what I wanted. But all the same, I think you've gotten my point that when the verb, especially verbs ending with a vowel, when the verb begins with a vowel, then you have to insert that. You have to insert that T. Okay. Just like I've shown you some examples there to make pronunciation very easy. It is very easy to pronounce a word when it comes to that. So allow me, I want to wind up with this. I want to wind up with this here, the last part. So we have these expressions here, the WH questions, okay? Remember the WH questions? When, where? Okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I want to talk about the now open questions. Open questions. Those are what we call the WH questions. So we have got pourquoi. Pourquoi means what? Why? Sawa. We have got comment means how. We have quand, which means when. We have qui, which means who or whom. We have got où, That should be, yes. Où, where, combien. Combien means how much or how many. I've said pourquoi. Pourquoi means why, right? Okay. Then we have comment means how or what, depending on the context it is used. We have quand, which means when. These are adverb of time. When, okay. Then qui means who or whom. Où means where. Combien means how many, okay? How many or how much, okay? How much. So just the same way we have formed the questions, these ones here, mostly they come at the beginning. So for example, I'm just going to use one. So for example, someone asks you, pourquoi vas-tu, that's subject verb inversion, you see. I hope you are following, eh?
Yeah.
Vas-tu à Paris? Where are you going to? To Paris, right? The same question I can ask also, pourquoi, tone variation, pourquoi tu vas à Paris? You see that? That's tone variation. Then I can now also say, pourquoi est-ce que, okay? Pourquoi est-ce que tu vas? Pourquoi est-ce que tu vas à Paris? So when you use the expression est-ce que, ladies and gentlemen, with the WH questions, they come first. Normally, this the expression is supposed to come, but with the open question, these ones here, these ones come first. Okay. These ones, they come what? They come first. When it comes to the open, the WH what? Question. So, pourquoi est-ce que tu vas à Paris? I can ask also, where are you going to? Où, okay? Où est-ce que Paul habite? Paul anaishi wapi? You see that? I can ask, for example, quand, when? Quand est-ce que, sorry, that one is not est-ce que, okay? Où est-ce que Paul habite? Now, quand est-ce que tu voyages quand est-ce que tu voyages à Mombasa? When are you traveling to Mombasa? You see, it's as simple as that. Once you understand different ways of forming a question, it is very easy. So I've said pourquoi means why, comment, how, combien. Remember, for example, which one also? Combien. Combien, I've said means combien. So I can say combien coûte, coûte is to cost, eh? Combien coûte un billet pour Paris? How much is the air ticket to Combien coûte un billet pour Paris? How much their ticket to Paris? So the same I can say. So this is the verb coûter. Combien coûte un billet pour? Someone asks you, combien est-ce que vous êtes à la maison? Or, vous avez combien de frères? Hein? Vous avez combien de frères? How many brothers do you have? Remember we did the family members, right? Last week. Combien de sœurs? Vous avez combien de sœurs? How many sisters do you have? Vous avez combien de tantes? How many aunts do you have? etc. Okay? Combien des enfants? How many children? Any question there? Any question?
Okay.
Then I'm winding up with this. Qu'est-ce que? Qu'est-ce que? You see, this expression, you already know it. Eh? That expression, you already know it. Est-ce que? Yeah. Why is it misbehaving? Yes. You see that expression, you already know it, but I've added now que. So qu'est-ce que means what? Sawa. This expression is asking for something, okay? It means what? Like you want to ask someone, what are you eating? What are you talking about? What are you doing? You ask the question, qu'est-ce que? So for example, I can ask you, what are you preparing for lunch? Okay? Qu'est-ce que tu prépares pour le déjeuner? What are you preparing for lunch? There is S here. That's why in you. So, qu'est-ce que tu prépares pour le déjeuner? What are you preparing for dinner? Now, I want to ask you a question. Eh? How do you ask, what are you preparing? No, or no, are you preparing dinner? Anyone? Are you preparing dinner?
Okay.
To prepare le déjeuner.
How do you say you are preparing?
Est-ce que préparer le dîner?
Est-ce que tu prépares le déjeuner? Are you preparing lunch? You see, those are two different things. Eh? Someone knows you are preparing something, but now is how the question will ask, qu'est-ce que tu prépares pour le déjeuner? What are you preparing for lunch? But now the question, est-ce que tu prépares est-ce que tu prépares le déjeuner? The second question means, are you preparing lunch? Are you preparing lunch? The first one means, what are you preparing for lunch? You see that? So basically, that is as far as interrogation is concerned. Any question? Any question? So
No.
there is a document. Let me fetch it. Ladies and gentlemen, this document are posted on the portal. You can see l'interrogation avec l'inversion exercice et corrigé. So it has questions and corrections, okay? So, vous sortez vendredi ou samedi? Quand sortez-vous? When do you go out? Okay? So, it has got so many questions. You see, we have talked about the WH what? Questions, they are there. Où, quand, comment, combien, pourquoi, okay? So it has a lot of exercises which will help you to understand. And you know, the good thing with this, it also has what? It also has the responses of the same, you see. So from there, from here, you see from this part, you are asked questions and you've been given what? You've been given the responses. So what I want you to do, apart from the second question, question number 2, let me see. Question number 2, you're supposed to complete. So this part is what I want you to avoid. This part here, j'habite à Trois-Rivières. But here, you are supposed to choose the following. Allez-vous à l'épicerie? Allez-vous étudier ici? So the choice of this will depend on your understanding of this question from number 1 to 10, okay? Understood?
Yeah.
So you can relate. Remember, from here, there now you have been given what? You have been given the responses. So you try to understand if you are getting the correct response, but now later on you refer to it for you to get the correct. If you see, you check if you've gotten the right answer or not. So you can see they're using qu'est-ce que here, qu'est-ce que, qu'est-ce qui, qu'est-ce qu'elle, etc. Then, last but not least, please also know the following words. Quel, it is not quel, but it is quel. Quel. Quel, that is masculine. Then we have got quel, which is feminine, and they're plural form. So, for example, when someone asks you, for example, what is your age? How old are you? So, quel âge, okay? Quel âge as-tu? Quel âge as-tu? How old are you? Because the age is masculine, so we say quel. So what is your age? But what of nationality or your profession? Someone asks you now, quelle est ta profession? What is your profession? This one, there's no S there. So, quelle est ta profession? So, this one, just know, or quel est ton nom? What's your name? Quel est ton nom? What's your name? So, what decide whether you're supposed to use quel? They are pronounced the same. Both masculine and feminine, they are pronounced the same. Whether to use quel with the L or quel with double L-E, which I've said they're pronounced the same, is the noun that follows. So if the noun is masculine, we use what? We use quel, okay? If the noun is masculine, we use quel. If it is feminine, we use what? We use quel, double L-E. But remember, I've said they're pronounced the same, okay? No, what you are asking, what you are referring to, is it masculine or feminine, okay? So for example, you can say, just like I've said, I don't want to add much there. So basically, you're also going to find those in the same document I've shared with you. So please read. Should you have any challenge, feel free to ask a question. Any question? I want to wind up there. I want to give you a break. At the end, you look for something to bite, as I also prepare for other things. Any question? Natasha, Dorcas, and John.
I'm fine.
I'm
Yes,
okay.
So please always read those. Remember, this lesson is recorded. You can revisit it many times as possible once I post it on the portal, which I will do by the end of the day. So mine is to thank you for joining class today. Natasha, Elizabeth, welcome. I believe you've tried to go through what we have done in the previous lessons. And as I said earlier, should you face any challenge, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You have my number, and of course, I said I need your contact so that in the WhatsApp group, which is easy for us to communicate, okay, or discuss something again. Someone may ask a question there, and that can also help someone. So I will also put some exercises on what we have done on the portal so that you can practice based on what we have learned about the two topics. That is the second group verb, sorry, and of course the interrogation, which already, the document I was just showing you is already on the portal, so you can go through it at your own time. And of course, you can also add some notes just to top up what you've written during our live session. So thank you so much. Unless there's a question, I'm going to stop there. Yes. That's Elizabeth. Elizabeth, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Do you have any question?
No.
Okay. So let us leave it at that point. Thank you so much, and I believe you learned something out of this. Study the verbs. I told you, and I always say, the backbone of this language is the verbs. So far, we have done quite a number of first group verbs. Today, we learn second group verbs, and you have a whole document with so many verbs. So please go through it, master those verbs, because once you master the verbs, you should be in a position to express yourself or to understand what someone is trying to say. So our next lesson will venture on third group verbs, some third group verbs which are irregular verbs, and many other things just to facilitate you or to help you express yourself as far as the French language is concerned. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful afternoon. Above all, take care of yourselves as you learn from home, as you study from home. Take care of yourselves. You save me, I save you. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, take care and enjoy your lunch.
You too.
Bye.